Hello and welcome to Dream It, Dare It, Do It, Live the Life You Want. I'm Jasmine, your host for this beautiful series of conversations that I'm having with beautiful people. And today I am so happy to have with me Monique Williams. Hi, Monique.
Hi, beautiful Jasmine.
How you doing?
I feel great. I feel so excited to be here. I feel so at peace to be here. Hi, Booty.
Hi, the booty is, for those of you listening on audio, she's just stretching to see Monique better. Uh, and for those of you who do not know Monique, I did not know Monique either. We kind of like first met like last week, 2 weeks ago, because we both went to the 3PGC conference. And she did speak at the 3PGC conference. And you got these people where you're just like, oh, she calls me sister. So I'm like, I agreed. Like for some reason, I was like, yes, I am your sister. so we became sisters instantly.
Absolutely.
And so when I finally, saw that we were sisters like this, I said, you got to come. And she said, yes. So here we are. But to be a little bit more specific, Monique, for those people who are listening, who when you meet, you're going to call sister or brother, just let them know where you're from and what do you do?
Okay, well, I'm from Merced, California in the USA. And I'm actually part of a beautiful, beautiful corporation led by my mother, Miss Beverley Wilson Hayes, called ConduitsDoIt. And we all know, absolutely, we all know that a conduit is something that is flowed through, and we are conduits. And we really just like to do it, like to show love and to listen and to be here. And that's why I'm just excited to be here. And I'm actually in business with my sibling, my sister, Tanya, and my oldest child. Her name is Janique Thomas. So we went to years of training with mom, not brutal years, but amazing years. And then I went a couple years with Miss Rohini and Mr. Angus Ross. Okay. With the Rewilding. Yeah, I went through a few of their programs. They have some amazing programs also. So yeah, we met at 3PUK. That was a great experience. What a life-changing experience to be able to speak and to connect. And I found a new sister.
You found way more sisters. Like we found so many new sisters.
We found sisters.
We found sisters and brothers, and it was really a lot of fun. I didn't meet a lot of people there, and I got to discover people. Like I got to discover you. I got to discover your mother. I did not know your mother, and Rob and I are good friends. So Rob would talk about Miss Beverley. And I'd be like, not like who is Miss Beverley, but he would talk about her, and then all of a sudden, oh, that's Miss Beverley. It was really, really funny. But yeah, it was very touching to see all of your, it was fun because you guys were like, this is like the multi-generation of, the Williams lady. I don't know if it's the Hayes, I guess. But it was a lot of fun to see all of you there because it was mother, daughter, 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 basically, right?
Mother, yeah, it was mother, daughter, granddaughter.
Yeah. Yeah. And so tell me, what does your job entail? Like, tell me a little bit more about ConduitsDoIt, because I know you guys were talking about it, but like, tell me a little bit more about it.
Oh, ConduitsDoIt is it's encompassed by so many things. So we get to do like what I love is one-on-one counseling, like not counseling, but coaching and mentoring and connecting and just being there. And it's ironic, we had did this for years, just like in family and in neighborhood, in community. So every year, me and my mom, we're 7 days and 25 years apart. So we always hold a community event, which it wasn't called Conduits Do It because we didn't activate that business until 2 years ago.
Okay.
But my mom had been for over 30 years in the three principles. And then we had been trained under her. So we had always worked in the community, just connecting. We would hold groups. We would do everything was always based out of the three principles: mind, consciousness, and thought equals our reality. But it always flourished into such a beautiful creation of people coming together and just having insights on things that maybe they were stuck in, or that maybe they didn't even observe that they needed to shine a light on. So it was just we've had a family business where we're holding events and public speaking, connecting, making sure that we are coaching, mentoring. We do trainings. I love trainings because I train, that's just like the thing when you get to just connect. And like I specialize in grief resolution is what I call it. Grief resolution and, like we were talking about, public speaking. And it's just been a really good family connection thing. It's almost like the family always did things together. So now we get to kind of be on display with what we do naturally, like how we've been our whole lives. So it's exciting. I remember thinking, hey, you know how people get families, they go and they get this show and then their family turns into a catastrophe. And I was like, man, we won't get to be like that because we're just going to be ourselves. And that's what's beautiful about the three principles is everyone gets to be themselves, nobody else. We just get to be our own individual selves.
So do you work with prisons, or is it your daughter that's working? I'm trying to remember.
Actually, me and my daughter work in California prisons.
Really?
Yes, as peace officers. That's our other job. That's like our 40-hour-a-week job.
Okay.
And then our Conduits Do It is our 24-hour, like no matter where you stand, you're a conduit. And we always do it.
So are you bringing this? I'm asking the question. I already know the answer to it, but I'm going to ask the questions. So I'm guessing that you're bringing this to the prisons. You're bringing this in because it's with you, right? You're living it all the time.
Yeah, this understanding is inside of us. So I'm not going into a room and gathering staff and inmates in, let's learn about the three principles. But there are conversations that are going on all the time just because there's an interaction that happens between two human beings. And a lot of times the three principles just connects on a level that's wonderful. It connects you to people in a different way that's non-judgmental, and that just allows you to kind of sit back and just listen.
Yeah.
And listen for like heart, not for mind, like you just listen. So I just always have been very grateful for all that. My burpees are excited.
Yeah, the
My God.
They're excited. The conversation is just so spicy.
Yes.
So, but we connected off camera first, and one of the things that I asked you was what's going on with you since the 3V conference. So one of the things that I shared with you was that I was starting to see my ego more and more. And so for those of you who did not hear this conversation that I had off camera, let me repeat it.
Beautiful, so, please.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm seeing more and more for myself is I'm seeing my ego show up in my day-to-day life. How I created this persona of Jasmine, of how she should be reacting and how she should be acting, and what she shouldn't do. And there's a lot of shoulds in Jasmine's life. Like should have been my middle name. Like Jasmine Should Devien is like the perfect middle name for me. But I'm seeing more and more, and I think that that had an impact when I was at the conference, where I saw that I love dwelling in the space of love. I love dwelling in
Mm.
a space of, just like I feel like bathing. I feel like in a bath. Put a little love
Mm.
here, a little love here. Let me wash it here. I just,
I love it.
yeah, I love being in that space of no judgment. And I
Mm.
could see that my ego is a major space of judgment, you know, and I've seen it show up quite a bit. And I hadn't seen it in that way before. And
Mm.
I think that the conversations that I listened to during the 3PGC just got me got me there. And I love that you gave me the analogy that it was kind of like a barge moment, like for me. So explain a little bit what a barge moment is for you.
I did steal it from my mama, but it's
Yeah.
so true, when you think about, and I don't want to say it wrong, but when you think about the sea and a barge comes along and it moves very slow, a barge is very slow moving, but as we um as we are moving along and we're making decisions or we're having insights, the barge is that it looks like there's a little bump, but there's really big movement. And that's what it feels like. It just kind of feels like a big thing happened under the water, but that a very light barge happened on top of the water. So it just, even when you were telling me like your insights that you had from 3PUK, I was like, oh, that's big. That's big when we see things and we see them outside of the way we've been seeing them. And we have that insight. It just feels good. And I'm going to steal that you're bathing in it. You're just bathing in the feeling, like you're sitting with it. I love the word dwelling in it. I always use this one liner of dwelling in the quiet space or dwelling in the secret place. And so I'm with you on that. I understand bathing in that feeling.
Yeah.
I like that. You got an insight. It opens your eyes to something different. And once we get that consciousness level, it just lets us see from higher vantage points. And we
Yeah.
get to just observe. I love that you can sit with yourself and just observe.
Yeah. And
Nice.
I was teased about it. I remember, because I've been doing this for a while, but when I would talk to somebody about it, I was told many times, "Oh, you think too much." And then I was like, "Oh, I think too much." And then I would stop my process because I remember having these thoughts of like I'd have these thoughts like, "Why am I jealous?" Because when I was younger, I was jealous. I was a jealous girl. And I would go, "Why am I jealous?" Like I'd have these questions pop up. "Why am I jealous?" Because you are. It's kind of like, but I'm not jealous anymore. Now I'm like, like for some reason, this is what comes up to me in my mind. When you're jealous, you're insulting yourself. That's
Mm,
that's like what shows up for me. So I'm like, I'm
yes.
not going to insult myself. I've got no reasons to be jealous.
No.
It does pop up. It still does pop up. And then I kind of go, no need to react to it anymore, right? And that's what's really interesting because the more, yeah, yeah. Oh, see, I'm seeing your elevator. As I'm explaining it to you, I'm seeing your elevator. Because the way that,
Consciousness,
yeah, like the way
levels.
I see it is blankets. Like I remove blankets of
Mm,
thinking. I remove
mm,
it's like once I remove blankets, then all of a sudden I see something and I kind of go, what is that? And then because there's not as much thickness, I can start seeing through things. So
mm,
like this seeing my ego thing is because I got so many layers out. And now I kind of go, wait, before it was like really real, because of the thickness in the back of it. It was like, yeah, yeah, no, the ego is right. Now I'm kind of seeing through it going, no, it's okay. Thanks. It's okay. I don't want to go there.
And isn't that beautiful? Like I think of that creating our storylines. Like we take away so much power when we acknowledge and just observe from a different place. And we're like, oh, it's not as big as I had it or the way it felt. It's heavy. I like the blanket analogy because blankets are heavy.
Yeah.
So as we pull them off, or we peel layers of onions, or we go to the next level of consciousness or of awareness, then we always get to see from that higher vantage point. It's a beautiful place to be. That's the mind of it,
Yeah.
divine mind. That's where we want our thoughts. We want our thoughts to get on the elevator of consciousness and just continue to elevate into divine mind.
Yeah, and then sometimes, the elevator just skips a little, goes down a little bit. But it's okay. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
We can always see more and deeper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from the Michael Neal gang.
I want to be from the Michael Neal gang.
Yeah, Michael is so cool. And Michael, I forget why I said that. Where was I going? Oh, dang.
You were going with some amazing insights that he's given.
Going with some amazing insight, but I totally forgot now. Because Michael it was about Michael calling something. Totally forgot.
I love that we get to be human. No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But I do want to say that you're in the Michael gang, and that's a great gang to be in.
Yes. We're having a lot of fun, and he's just he makes sense. Like when I first heard Michael, I used to hear him on on Hay House Radio. He had a radio show, and I used to listen. I remember I was feeling pretty down on myself and worried about my life and where am I going to go and what's going to happen to me. I'm single, I'm alone. When my parents die, what's going to happen? Like this whole conversation was going on in my head, which I don't have anymore. That conversation doesn't flow anymore. Right. But I remember listening to him and he would say something and I'd be like, yeah. Exactly.
Right.
It's so simple. And so I had to keep the conversation going because we think it has to be so complicated. Right? We kind of like, and my work, I do a lot of systems creations. Like I work with businesses and I create automation and systems and customer service stuff. And how are we going to answer this way? So there's a lot of thinking involved. And I was kind of like bringing this into my life, my day-to-day life. Okay, wow. Now, if I'm going to be a coach, for example, what am I going to do? And then I'd start processing. I'd try to create process, but I had no idea how my life would become. I know the process of a company. I know you sell a product, customers are going to buy. So you need to have where are you going to put your money? You need to have invoices. This customer disagree. You need to have rules for what do you do? That's the same for every company. But my life, I couldn't do that in my life.
Love that.
I couldn't. I'd had to just trust that whatever happens, I'll deal. And that's intellectually took me a while to get there.
Sounds like you're so there.
I am. I definitely am. I mean, I was sharing with, I think it was another podcast episode. I've also stopped using my memory, which is something super interesting because I used to rely a lot on my memory. Now I'm about the moment. So I know I've said it. I know I've talked about it. Where I talked about it?
That's a beautiful state. Flow state. We want to stay in flow state. Yes. That's present moment. Flow state. And then I think that's like where joy comes from, right?
Yeah.
Like joy comes from just being present and allowing ourselves to just be.
Yeah. Joy state. Yeah.
When you're talking, it's so funny, Miss Jasmine. It just looks like you have this paintbrush and you're just painting. Like when you're talking, I like hearing you talk because you're just painting. And I see your present moment. I
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, and I go in and out. I'm very aware of it. I'm very aware of it. And I have friends who tell me, like, but what are you doing in this podcast? I'm talking to people. What do you mean? What am I doing? I'm having conversations. Like, yeah, but why? Because it's fun,
Mm,
right?
yes, and it's you.
It's fun and it's cool. I love to see the different point of views that people have. Like,
Absolutely.
when we started talking earlier, one of the things that we talked about was the non-judgment, right? In this community, like I've been doing the podcast, and I'm still coming from the normal world, if that makes any sense, where
Yes.
you kind of like, okay, there's a hierarchy. Okay, well, Michael's up here, I'm down here.
Mm,
Denise is about here. Beverly's right there. Like I kind of have this thing. But what's really interesting in this community is that that's not there.
mm.
Like it's not there. I reach out to Dick and Bettinger, who's got books and he's got courses and he's learned with it. And you think he's going to say, excuse me, I will not go on your podcast. I got better things to do. And he's just like, okay, where, when? It's just so enriching to be able to be in that space.
It is. It is. I think we get starstruck. I get starstruck.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I think it's normal. We still do. But it's also refreshing to see how
Mm.
it's okay.
How human, huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
And it is okay. Yeah, Dick and Bettinger. He came and spoke when I was in school with Miss Rohini's Rewilding. I was in the mentorship program and I was in the coaching program, and it was so cute what he did. He actually made me okay with a part of me that I had allowed other people to make me feel some sort of way about. So it was funny. So he was in the moment and he's speaking to us. We're all on Zoom. And in the moment he's speaking and he's flowing with that beautiful paintbrush, that you guys do. And he's talking, and then all of a sudden he refers to his puppy that's sitting to the right, and he says, "Look at that toy that we just bought him today. He is having so much fun," because we have been hearing this little ooh, ooh, and we didn't know it was a toy. It was kind of like softly in the background. And so anytime in my life, anybody around me, work or whatever, they would have said, "There she goes again, squirrel," that squirrel thing. But I never felt like I was distracted. I always felt like I was just in the moment of who was in front of me. Like, "Oh, hi, guys." I didn't want them to leave. And then I'd come back to my conversation. "Good to see you." And then I'd come back to my conversation, right? But people always felt some sort of way about that. Like they feel like, "Oh, my Lord, squirrel, can you just listen to me and look at me?" But but what I got, or the insight that I received just from watching him and listening to him as he was just speaking to us in the moment and coming from his heart, is that that's my storyline I made up of squirrel and allowing myself to feel some sort of way. So now I'm serious. Ever since that moment, the Dick and Bettinger moment, now if I see, I see. "Hi, guys," and then I come back. And if someone has an issue, I just let them say what they feel, and then I continue because I'm 200% in the eyes of who I'm looking into. And
Mm.
if I look for 2 seconds for 200%, I'll come right back, you know? And it was just like a confirming nice moment. Like, oh, see, I'm not a squirrel. I'm normal. It's just all love.
Yeah. It's interesting. I know what you're talking about. Like we have these moments where we make up something that somebody says, or somebody reacts some way. I was recording a podcast the other day, and I looked at this person, and what she said, like she didn't say a word. I was just looking at this person, and in my mind, I was saying, "Oh, she's thinking I'm too much of an ego." And then I was like, I chuckled to myself, and it happens so quick, right? It's like
Yes.
it's instantaneous. That's how speedy this brain is. And I
Yes.
just kind of chuckled to myself. I was like, no, that's not what she's saying, And even if she did, you know, it's very, like, very, very cool to see that you are what you're experiencing. It's all you, everything is
Everything.
you. And you know, when I first heard it, it was kind of like not good news. You know, in the beginning, it was kind of like, wait, what?
Oh, oh no.
Even the bad stuff? Oh man. But it's once you get past that, or once the ego gets past that, because it's really the ego going, no, I'm good. Okay. Um, you just you can just do something with it now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it doesn't belong to you, you can't do anything with it.
Mm.
If what's happening is your fault, I'm a victim. I'm stuck. I can't do nothing. And that's not true. Like the more I get into the conversation, the more I say it, the more I get it.
Mm.
What is one of the things? So I'm going to share something. So one of the things that I'm amazed at is there's no present. No, sorry. There's no past.
Yeah.
Rewinding. There's no past. There's no future. There's only the present. Like I heard this years and years and years ago. And I was like, yeah, yeah. And then somebody would repeat it and I go, yeah, yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, I know. But then I got it. Like,
Mm.
then I went, oh, there's no past. Like I'm just repeating the same words, but it was just like such an understanding, a knowing, a seeing, um, deepening of it.
Yes.
Is there one thing like that you've seen for yourself?
Yes, my mother's mother passed away when I was 17 years old, but it's ironic to think for 40 years she's been gone, but she was such a big impact. Do you know till this day, if I go to sleep and I dream of her, it's dreamed in the present moment and there's no 40 years that has passed? Even in the thought of her, I just drop into present moment and it's almost like future, past don't exist. Only that moment, this moment. Even thinking of her right now, no concept of time. Time is like an illusion in love, in present moment. It really does not, it's not a factor. Like, have you ever went to sleep and dreamed of someone who's been gone? And in that present moment, time disappeared? That's kind of like what I hear when I hear you talking. It's like that present moment of her was just, even if it was just a hug, not even a voice, just a hug.
Mm.
Yeah, that present.
Oh, Is that you or is that me? Oh, it was one or the other.
Mm.
Sorry, we had a little technical issue on our side here. Yeah, so basically you were saying that that moment is just great.
And it's timeless because she's been gone for 40 years, but I'm sorry, 30 years. I better do my math right.
Yeah, I was
She's
kind of like, I was making the math now. And I was like,
she's been gone for 30 years, but it's like it just seems like yesterday that or today.
my mom's been gone for 5 years. And I remember, you know how you listen to movies and somebody passes and they tell the children, she's really not gone. She's going to be here in your heart. You just have to think about her there. And I'd be like, yeah, whatever, I'd be like, but really I can see my mom everywhere now.
Wow.
Like I look at my plants and I see my mom because my mom loved plants. So
Present.
I look at my dog, I hear songs and I can feel my mom there. Like she's there everywhere and I can literally see it. Like it's true, guys. Just when we can be with the person and like that energy stays with you.
Yeah, and time disappears.
Yeah.
You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like, wow. Well, did I tell you it was going to be quick?
I just knew we weren't going to run out of time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, before we leave, like if people are interested like that, they would like to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
Well, we can be found many places. Instagram is Conduits Do It. We're like at conduitsdoit.com. No, not really. Conduitsdoit at gmail.com.
Okay.
And I'm in LinkedIn, Beverley Wilson Hayes, Monique Williams, all the LinkedIn, family. I love LinkedIn for some reason.
Yeah.
It's a good connector. And yeah, there are many ways to connect, but we're always here.
Do you have like public classes or something? Do you have public courses going on right now or?
We don't. We're getting ready to start up a 6-weeker that we haven't made the announcement on. Yeah. Yeah. So we usually do we have all the things that we do, but yeah, we're getting ready for a 6-weeker. So that's pretty exciting. And I'm doing a 6-weeker also with Miss Rohini. It starts in 2 days, July 7th. It's Rewilding Our Practice. Yeah, and you can get that on the Rewilding page. I always will support and love to assist in any way for the Rewilding community because it's just a great community.
Okay.
And yeah.
Well, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. It was fun.
I know, sisters, for real, because where did the time go, sister? It was like, that's what I'm talking about. That's the past, future, just like present moment when you're with family and you just feel the love. So thank you for letting me sit in your energy and your greatness, paint with you.
Thank you for accepting. It was fun. I love to paint with people. Well, you have a fantastic time during your group and your 6-weekers that are coming up.
Yes.
And everybody, I'm going to put the link to Monique's LinkedIn. So if you want to reach out to her, you can. And I'm going to say to everybody else, I'm going to say, hey, dream it, dare it, do it. Live the life you want. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.